Talofa kia ora and welcome back to Fresh New Rugby, man. Good to have you guys back. Today I wanted to analyze the game between Black Ferns and also Japan. So come on, man, join me. All right, now in the first half, what are some of the significant things that actually happened in the first half as you were watching it? Yeah, so for me, it was a stunning start from Japan, you know, in their search for their first points. Japan actually executed faultless the opening and were the first to score within the 4 minutes into the match. I mean, I bet you didn't think of that or even imagine that was going to happen. And that was a result of a well-drilled set piece. Yeah, it was from a nice box kick, and then it was a well-drilled maul. So that first 4 minutes, I think Japan surprised a lot of people, especially that sold-out crowd that they had there as well. On the other hand, the Black Ferns, you know, by contrast, you know, they made errors. And then included one from the lineouts as well. But I guess the pivotal moment was when Portia Woodman-Wickliffe scored her record-breaking 50th career test try. And congratulations as well to Mrs. Wickliffe. What an outstanding achievement. I mean, that's exactly what sparked and gave New Zealand their belief to come back. And then, you know, once she scored, and then, man, the Black Ferns just unleashed amount of attack and points on Japan before the halftime. And that was because then by halftime, it was 35-5. Massive lead from the Black Ferns there. On the second half, we saw Japan re-establish their forwards centric game plan, which caused significant problems for New Zealand. In that second half, Japan, they dominated territory, holding 53%. Man, that's a lot to any team. 53% of possession in that half, and forcing the Black Ferns to make sloppy errors and disciplinary issues as well. So that was pretty significant in that half, was the ability to overcome the Black Ferns' ability to overcome adversity in that second half. So despite being reduced to 14 players from the red card, they showcased their athleticism and depth by scoring 3 long-range tries in those final minutes. And it goes to show that, you know, the talent that New Zealand has, whether that be in the men's team, or actually the men's team is struggling right now to fulfill the injuries, but and the women's team for the sake of this tournament, they're not short on numbers. And so something good to know that whether they have someone in the bin, they actually have the brilliance and individual skill set to still score long range tries. Amazing, eh? Some of the important moments in each half and why for me. The first key moment was Hatara's. I think that's how you say her name. Obviously, her try in the 4th minute. This early score was a major, you know, psychological win for Japan, proving that their tactical approach could be effective against any top-tier team, and forcing the Black Ferns actually to recalibrate. And so the most important moment was Portia Woodman-Wickliffe's 50th try, obviously, in the 12th minute. It was a historic milestone, you know, for her to not only break the New Zealand all-time scoring record, but to also serve as the crucial catalyst that reversed the game's momentum and unlocked the Black Ferns' explosive attack. So when she, you know, like I said before, when she scored that try, oh man, the attack was on point from then on for the Black Ferns. The second half, I guess the critical moment was the sequence that led to Laura Bayfield's second yellow card. Now, for those who don't understand, I might even get this wrong myself. I believe that if you get 2 yellow cards, it's a red card straight away. So for those that are new to the game, I think that's the situation. If you get 2 yellow cards, you get red cards straight away. So correct me if I'm wrong, for all those out there that knows obviously better than me. So yeah, when this happened, obviously Japan was able to sustain the forward pressure, you know, and put New Zealand on ill discipline, exposing a key defensive vulnerability there for the Black Ferns. But Following this, Braxton Sorensen-McGee had a 60-meter solo run for a try. Man, that, now remember I said before about brilliance and then an individual skill. Braxton, that's what it was. Superior athleticism, you know, just on another level, proving that it could, you know, overcome a player disadvantage through sheer skill and speed. And so that's something that it's, you know, Japan wouldn't be able to deal with, especially for a country. I don't know how well they actually play rugby over there, but for the Black Ferns, it's another level. You know, they push each other. It's actually an official. They have official contracts in there, so obviously you got to be better than everybody else because you're trying to fight for that contract. I don't know how it is over there in Japan and so forth. So that was something that really stood out to me. Now, I didn't really, you know, I try to guess what game structure these teams play. By all means, I don't get them 100%. But, you know, man, really, look, I would love to learn from you guys out there. You know, just pinpoint what you think it is. Yeah. But when I try to think of a structure, I try to think about a pattern. What are they repeating over and over? And then when you see that happen once or, you know, twice, or depending how many times they actually have the ball, then you sort of get a read onto what they're going to do. But not always, you know, because when players play heads up, meaning they'll play the space in front of them, the structure goes out the window. But they just, you know, follow the instincts, and that's what make great teams and great players as well. Okay, so it's something that I saw from the Black Ferns is they were building overwhelming power and speed, and they also have the finishing ability out wide. Man, they were just far out. I mean, you would think some of the ladies here in the Black Ferns will smoke some of the men's in the All Blacks. They all, you know, they probably play better than some of the men's teams out there in general. Yeah, from the Black Ferns, they seek to use powerful carries to break the gain line, and they rely on their fast backs to finish off, which is something that we saw with the long range tries as well. And so, you know, how did we get to see that? Well, that was demonstrated by the amount of post meters that they gained after the tackles. I think they gained 331 post tackles, post contact. That is huge. And you don't want to be giving a team that good that amount of post meters, because they just feed off that. The energy will just feed off that, and they just keep, you know, trying to drive forward. And so, obviously as well, from that, the Black Ferns were able to score 3 late tries in the second half. Yeah, okay. And a notable and recurring pattern, however, was the slow start in the first half. And it also happened in the second half as well. So that's something that I'll obviously be talking about. Man, why are we having these slow starts from the first half and also in the second half? Okay. And like I said before, I believe that was the same problem that they had against Spain. Now, for Japan, what I saw with them is that it was a bit different from the All Blacks. I mean, from the Black Ferns. They were more patient. Yeah. Forward-based attack, sort of a game plan. Now, they will use set piece, but the whole idea behind set piece was trying to draw the Black Ferns to make mistakes, which they did in the Moors and things like that. For an example, like how we got yellow carded towards, I think, the 66th minute or 67th minute of the game. So their rolling Moors was particularly effective, you know, and you could see that that was the whipping that caused New Zealand to be in trouble all day from the Japan. Their strategy was designed to force penalties and create territory, and that was very clear, which was successful in the opening minutes on both halves. They actually led directly to 2 tries, to 2 of their 3 tries. Now remember, the third try where they got the yellow card that was actually a penalty try. Okay, so that's one thing that's, I guess, the Black Ferns need to work on is their mauling, or perhaps how to stop it and things, so they don't repeat the same mistakes. Because Japan was able to expose that, and now all the other teams are thinking, well, if we're ever going to play the Black Ferns, this is how we're going to get them. So that's where I feel that the Black Ferns will have to work on as well. Now, obviously, the team's discipline, we're not very proud of it. With our Black Ferns team, their discipline on the game was a major point of concern. I mean, not only for me, probably for those that are watching, but it was also pointed out by their own coaches and their own players. So, you know, noted that it really cost them. And I think they will do better coming up the next game. Because obviously when you make those mistakes, you're giving other teams, you know, pretty much free access into our own 22. So being ill-disciplined is the most evident area that we're going to need to focus on going into to the next rounds. And so because obviously it has resulted into that second yellow cards, as we mentioned before with Laura, deliberate knock-on, and this for the first one, and the second one was for collapsing the wall. And so the result for that was a 20-minute red card and a penalty try for Japan. Okay, now what did we learn about Japan is discipline. I think they were awesome. You know, they were way better than us in their discipline. As they patiently executed their game plan, you know, they were forcing the Black Ferns to make mistakes and errors as well. But however, Haruka, I think it was, they actually received a yellow card for Japan as well. So, you know, both teams guilty, but weighing out which had more consequences to pay for was obviously the Black Ferns. Okay. Now, I also like to pick my unsung heroes of both teams as well. My unsung hero for the Black Ferns was probably Miller. I think she was number 6. You know, obviously while others grabbed the headlines, you know, scoring massive tries. I mean, Miller did score 2 tries of her own though, you know. But man, she was a hard worker on the field, man. And I think she put on 15 tackles. She was praised for her aggression and intelligence, on raw ability. You know, one of the person that actually reminded me when I watched her play was Richie McCaw. You know, there was one try that she scored, and you know, man, it was beautiful to watch. I could watch that type of technique all day. And for you guys out there, like learning how to tackle quickly and then get on your feet, or coming around a corner, what she did, and then she just went for that ball, and then she just ripped it off the player and just ran off and scored a try. And it wasn't easy as well. She still had a bit of work to do. But so intelligent, man. Aggressive on defense. She's not only a tackler, but she can do many things. I think my unsung hero for Japan was Yona Sato. Yeah, in the match. She actually made 18 tackles. Yeah, showcasing a quiet, tireless, resolved against an overwhelming opponent, but her defensive effort was a shining example of heart and discipline in what you will see a difficult or hard match. And so, you know, you can see that Japan has come a long way. And compared to some of the other teams that are in the comp, they haven't really had success of crossing the line, where Japan, for a country that don't really play rugby, man, outstanding and doing really well against the Black Ferns. Now, just sort of a wrap up. The final score was 62-19, and the Black Ferns scored 10 tries to Japan's 3. Now, this was a big one. Missed tackles. Japan missed 41 tackles. Ooh. And then another big one was the Black Ferns gained 331 post contact meters. That's a clear indicator of their physical dominance and ability to break through the initial tackle. So obviously when you're thinking about that, and then if you're a team that is playing New Zealand next, you know, you would think we could get them through the mauls and the set piece. I think another thing that was lacking in the back three for the Black Ferns was them recovering those short and those box kicks, and I think Portia admitted it to that in their interview. But that's something that I know that they're going to be working on, especially discipline, because if you're going to play against top tier teams like England, France, and what's another team, good team there, that they will rip into you, and you don't want to be making those sort of mistakes against those top teams. So I reckon that the Black Ferns, although they're happy about the win, but it was a lot for them to learn as well moving forward. And who do they thank for that? Was Japan. And although Japan didn't win the game, but man, they gave it a good crack, you know. And I think Japan have actually played better rugby than some of the teams that are in the World Cup. And so they can only progress forward from where they are today. And they'll be better for it in the future as well. And so this second encountering with them, it wasn't so much of a bad scoreline on the scoreboard, but big ups to them and all the things that they were able to achieve. But yeah, congratulations again to Portia Woodman-Wickliffe for scoring a 50th try. I mean, I don't know how she's going to top that anytime soon. The scary thing is she's still playing, so that's not going to be her last try. But what a hero, what an example she is, man. She is a really humble person, just from watching her getting interviewed and things like that. You know, it's just one of those people that, you know, when you hear her speak, and you know, she actually just puts the team first before anything. And so, I admire people like that, especially players who play the game that I love. So congratulations once again, Mrs. Wickliffe, and also Braxton. I know she's new and up and coming, but man, how dangerous she can be. You give her space and she will teach you. So man, it's something that other teams will be studying and wouldn't want to make the same mistakes as Japan did. But apart from that, yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I hope that you liked that one. And yeah, who were your unsung heroes of the game? I'm looking forward to hearing your comments, or perhaps what did you learn about sort of what structure were they playing and so forth. Yeah, but thank you everyone. I really appreciate you, and thank you for watching. All right, cheers.